Today is Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 47, the finale part 2.
This episode was titled The Last Stand, and that was spoken by Rachel. Probst gave us a dramatic recap in the beginning there.
All the way to the final 4.
It was a wild ride, he said, with Operation Italy. They took out Caroline, and then with Rachel spying, she was able to leverage her block of Voting Idol to create the biggest move of the season, he said. Okay. Took Andy out. She won her 3rd individual immunity and was able to take Genevieve out. Previously on Survivor, they're gunning for Rachel. Rachel spies on them, and she tells Sue. Rachel plays the idol. Does not count, does not count, does not count. Andy's out.
Love those does not count.
All eyes are on Rachel with her 3rd individual immunity win. She clutches it, and Genevieve is out. Back at camp.
Everybody's happy. They're in the final 4.
Celebrate. Teeny says she is 1 round from pitching to the jury, and she's riding her highest high. Sue's daughter told her that she would be proud of Sue even if she was voted out on day 1, and Sue says, "Now look at me now."
Yep. Well, it is pretty phenomenal that she made it all the way.
That was kind of cool. Rachel mentioned at one point when they were in camp that they had never written each other's name down, so they'd never voted for each other.
Cool.
Sam's feeling it. His dream is close. Rachel's happy to celebrate. She wants to take it all in. Goes down to the beach, watched by moonlight with the waves coming in. That's when she gives us the title that she's ready to make her last stand.
Well, Sam might not have got his dream, but at least he didn't finish in 4th.
Okay, day 25, final 4.
Challenge.
Yes, they're going to crawl through some mud. They're going to maneuver a rope overhead to release it so that they can, and they're going to untie some stuff.
Always got to do that stupid net through the mud.
Yes, well, Probst loves his Survivor mud. It's his thing.
So everybody wants to do the challenge covered in mud.
Begin with it and end with it. And
Sue got stuck.
She kind of went sideways and got on the edge. And it's harder.
I think she couldn't see, probably.
Yes, yeah.
And she was kind of...
Rachel seemed to be the only one that had protected her eyes in some way, because her eyes were clear, but Sam was having trouble, and certainly Sue was. And Teeny's face was completely covered in mud.
Yep. Sam got the pole first and pushes the ropes over. And then he got the ball first, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like when they're multi-stages like that and you're doing something in one stage to use in the next stage.
Right.
I always like those.
Well, and it builds a lot of intensity, I think, about, especially when one's ahead and then another one's ahead.
Right.
It's like, oh no, who's going to win? And then Sam and Rachel end up at the same place throwing the ball together. So they were pretty much neck and neck at that point. And but Rachel got through the gate first.
Mm-hmm. They were all together for a little bit there, trying to throw the ball up there to release the tiles.
I was really worried when it took her so long with those letter tiles, trying to solve the combination lock.
That was nice. They switched up the combination lock. It wasn't numbers, it was a word this time.
Yes, that seemed much harder, actually, to me. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Sue finally got through the gate, and so did Teeny, and then Sam.
Yeah, Sue could only see out one eye when she was over there trying to get the gate to lower.
Oh, wow.
Throwing the ball that was attached to the rope that they had retrieved.
And then all of a sudden, everybody was on the letter tiles, and Rachel was still there trying to get it. But Sam gets it first. No. Rachel at least gets second.
Yeah, she's close. She's on his heels at that point.
She's right there. He does start the puzzle first. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was about to give him the win, too.
Teeny looked like they were doing good and then couldn't chop through the rope.
Yeah.
And it's always Sam. She's like, Sam did. Oh, no, Probst said that, didn't he?
I don't know.
Or I can't remember if it was Probst or her. But Sam did it with one chop.
Oh, that was probably Probst.
And Teeny was in Struggle City.
Yeah, I wondered if she had the machete turned the wrong way. She hit it so many times.
That would be awesome.
I forgot. I was going to say, let's go back and look at that.
Yeah.
Because I thought,
That didn't make
did
any
she
sense,
have it
did it?
turned the wrong way?
Yeah.
I mean, was she bludgeoning it to death like you did the possum instead of, taking the cover off the axe? You bludgeoned it
Wow,
to death.
you're taking a dark turn.
Oh, well, that's what it made me think of.
Okay.
Is that, something went wrong, and that's why it wouldn't happen. Mm-hmm. So anyway, remember, I want to go back and check that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was excited when Rachel pulled ahead on the puzzle.
Oh, yeah. We were both screaming by then, I think. Mm-hmm. And so,
then
yes.
she was done, but she had it wrong.
Oh, that upset me so much.
Yeah.
I was like,
But
no.
she kept her cool.
She did. And she
Just like the
fixed
whole
it.
season, yeah.
She not only won, she made a mistake, turned around, went back, fixed it, and really won.
Yeah. And that put her in the Survivor Hall of Fame.
It did.
Because there's only 4 previous women who had 4 individual immunity
And
challenges.
how could you do it any more dramatically than that?
Yeah.
So, all right. Good job, Rachel.
So it's up to her to choose who makes fire at the Final Four Tribal Council. And Sam tells us he is feeling defeated. He tried to get Rachel out and failed.
Yep. Well, they were back at camp and trying to... They walk up and there's 4 knives and 4 flints.
Yep. Kits for everybody. And you were like,
Yep.
why is there 4?
Why is there 4? And you said because in case she wants to practice too, the winner can practice. It's like, oh yeah, in case they choose to go up against somebody.
Right.
They've got their own kit to practice. Besides, I'd say, I'm keeping this knife. This is my souvenir.
Well,
Okay,
she didn't waste any time. They went down to wash off the mud. And,
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, okay,
None
Teeny,
whatsoever.
Sam, you're going to
Nope.
make fire. I got to reward Sue because she was with
That's
me
right.
to the end.
She's my girl.
Yeah.
She's been loyal. Sorry, that's it. Got to take her to the end. You guys are up.
And
No
Sam,
bones about it.
Sam states that he has never made a fire, and that immediately angers Teeny.
Well, she thought he was making fun
So
of her.
arrogant.
Blah, 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 blah.
Sam
She's-
is so
yep,
arrogant.
yep.
And we see classic, like Jam with Carson. We see Rachel working with Teeny.
Well, when Sam said he'd never made fire,
I didn't believe him. I really thought he was playing mind games with Teeny.
I thought it, but he wasn't. And when I saw that he really wasn't, that turned me off him. It's like, why? This is your big thing, and you want to be on Survivor, and you don't even once practice making fire.
He says
And I
it's a
thought,
foreign
okay,
concept to
if
him.
that bites you in the butt, I'm okay with that.
Right.
So, because I was mad at him then, because he
Well, Rachel
wasted
says
that opportunity.
Teeny seems to kind of understand, but their technique is bad. So Rachel offers some tips, and then all of a sudden, Teeny's making fire.
And she gave her the confidence then, too, that she was lacking. So I thought, and I was like, yes, Teeny, encouraging Teeny. All right, go, Teeny. And then I realized, wait a minute, I have Teeny going out now. No, go, Sam.
Yes.
Just totally spaced that.
I
don't
was cheering
know
for
what-
Teeny.
Well, yeah, but you had Sam going first.
Right.
So,
So we had quite the cheer section going for each one.
Yeah, and I had to stop that. I was like, wait a minute.
I thought briefly that while Sue was watching Sam struggle, I thought Sue was going to offer to step in and go against him. Did you think that at all, or?
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
I thought that would have really
No, but I
cinched it
thought
for
what
her.
I thought was that she was going to start feeling sorry for him, watching him struggle
you were worried.
and help him.
Yeah.
I was worried she was going to help him.
Yeah.
And at that
Well, you
that
wanted
point,
her to help him, actually.
well, not at that point. I hadn't realized that I had
You're
Teeny
cheering
go
the wrong
first.
way. Yeah.
Yes, I'm, memory, old age, that kind of thing. But Oh, well.
Teeny's feeling so confident, goes back to camp and makes fire in front of Sam.
Yep.
Sam's telling us he's scared, he's afraid. Why didn't you practice fire, he asks himself.
Yes, why didn't you?
And then he recalls some advice from his dad about not giving up, give it your all,
Or that
no
was
quits.
the story he came up with.
Yeah.
When he
So-
realized he had just said, "Boo."
He recovers, picks himself up, goes out and practices, and he gets fired.
Yep, so he is not a quitter.
Teeny tells us there's only a flame going through a rope standing between them and their dreams.
Yep, this is her biggest opportunity to change her life. All right, tribal council number 1.
Sue's face was clean. I just want to note that for the record.
Okay.
It was possible this entire time.
Well, she did have it clean sometimes.
Yes, she did.
Probst tells Rachel 1 out of 5 women in all survivor that she's 1 out of those 5 women
That have won 4
that have
individual
won
immunities.
at least 4 individual
Yeah.
immunity challenges
And-
in all of the
And goes on to
seasons.
add,
Yes.
only 2 have actually won the game, though.
Yes, of those 5, yes. 3 now.
Sam says, hey, a necklace doesn't equal $1 million. You need to be able to separate history from the whole outwit, outlast, outplay component of the game.
And now you have to eat that segment too. So, anyway, no. Okay. Rachel tells us, or tells the jury, I've been loyal to more than the others were to me. I was more loyal to you. And she says, but Sue was loyal to me, so I'm taking her to Final 3 because she was loyal to me.
And Sue says, thank you. Okay.
Then Teeny tells us that she and Sam have had a rivalry.
A one-sided.
Though
She
she
did on
admitted,
that.
Well, more on my side than his. And then she basically just confesses to being jealous because in her story in her head that I do all the time about what's going to happen on Survivor, in her story, Sam grew up with all of these opportunities and teacher's pet and, gets all the girls and, just all these
What's
things.
that going to be like for Sam sitting there listening to that?
She didn't get,
Yeah.
and she didn't have.
Jealousy.
And so Sam basically just says, look, I'm just excited for the opportunity, and my torch is still lit. So, still got fire in it. So, let's do it. All right, fire making challenge.
Teeny got off to a great start. She's getting some good coaching from Rachel.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of the people over on the jury were cheering for Sam.
Or at least reacting. It was dramatic.
Yeah, they were definitely reacting, but Gabe was whispering to the people next to him early on that he's snuffing it out. When he
Yes.
does it, he's snuffing it out.
He didn't know enough about how he was doing that he was actually blowing his own flame out.
But it really was exciting, back and forth, just
I don't know
right
why
there at the
Teeny
end.
didn't have it other than there
I
was
don't
several
either.
times
The
where the
wind.
wind had shifted.
Yes,
yeah.
the wind shifted. And you could see her rope burning even before his.
Yeah.
But the wind kept shifting. I think that was just so much luck, even way more than
Time-wise
any
with the
skill
wind.
or-
Yeah.
Yes, and
Maybe.
that was just.
I don't know. I think I would have stood up and blocked the wind. It's not like you can't see the flame bending away from the rope the way it was doing for her. So it was dramatic for sure. Back and forth, and then
was.
Sam won.
And I really didn't know who was going to win. It's like I was almost holding my breath to wait to see which flag was going up.
I wasn't.
And I think the
I was
jury
cheering
was
for Teeny.
too.
Yes.
You were cheering for Teeny. I was
Yes,
cheering
pretty loud.
for Sam by this point.
Yeah.
Since
Well,
I realized
Sam
that would,
pulled it out and won.
and gave me 5 points.
It gives Teeny a big hug. Teeny is heartbroken
Yes.
and notes that their rope's still not burned, even when they're sitting back over there.
And she does say, though, that she played the game exactly like she lives her life. And I thought,
100% Teeny, no doubt.
okay, yep, I believe that.
And also believe that they would have won.
Did you feel like people treated her a little bit with kid gloves, even pro?
Yes.
Yes. And I think because she was the youngest and she was out there among people who were a good bit older than her.
Yeah. Well, and she had the doofy vibe too, and so you tend to take more care with people who don't come across as more mature or more thoughtful.
Yeah, maybe. But I noticed that, it came out a lot that I thought that Jeff went out of his way to give her things and to guide her, because she was crying and all, and I thought what he was doing at this point, I think he gave her more in the final tribal, but right here I felt like he was also just trying to distract her from her heartbreak and pump her back up and move it along. It's what I thought was part of what was going on there. And
Teeny resolved herself, said, well, the stuffing is part of the journey.
And Jeff tells them he respects everyone who plays Survivor.
And she tells Jeff, you smell good. Okay, we got our final three, Sam, Rachel, and Sue.
And Sam tells us that his story is one of resilience.
Yeah, it's true. He has been hanging on by a thread for quite a while now.
Yeah, well, at least Teeny said to Jeff that she never wanted this to happen, meaning getting her torch snuffed. But then she followed up with saying, but this is part of the journey. So she'll enjoy the journey, I guess, as well. So.
And she says in her final words there that moment will haunt her.
It probably will for a while. You'll wake up still making fire, trying to, watching it burn.
Well, it was certainly an exciting fire-making challenge, and it appeared that Sam may have quite a few votes there based on the reaction of Gabe, Kyle, Andy, and of course Sierra. It seemed like he was halfway there.
All three of the guys, three of the four guys, Saul didn't, but the other three guys literally jumped up, arms in the air, and hollering and, whoop.
Yeah, whooping. Yep.
Whooping. It's like, okay. Then I started to get a little nervous.
Yeah, gave us pause, didn't it?
It did. I was like, whoa here. Wait a minute.
Okay, day 26. This is it. Got the sun shining and Sue screaming. She is pumped, and it turns out that day is her birthday. She's turning 59 that day.
How about that?
They get their breakfast, and Sam tries watermelon for the first time and declares, I don't love it. Which tells me there's something deeply wrong. Deeply wrong.
Stacy loves watermelon.
And that's why Rachel was an early pick for me. She was the one who said she could finish off a Costco watermelon, which is quite the impressive feat.
Well, it doesn't seem too difficult for you.
I know, but she's a lot smaller than me.
I'm like, oh, geez, I better get a couple bites if I'm going to get any, because it will be gone. Okay. Now you don't have to worry about it because we don't have a Costco anywhere near here. We have to go to Florida.
Sam tells us that he has earned his spot. It's definitely his story of his games to coming from behind there. And Rachel basically single-handedly reinduced Fallen Comrades. She basically brought it back in. She called it Fallen Friends, and so they tick off the members of the jury. They didn't do the whole cast, but started walking through to get comments on Sierra, and then we get comments from that jury member, and Sierra's is Sam is a winner. Then Soul talks about how Rachel had a lot of advantages, but her game wasn't solely about luck. So he didn't say that it was a solid vote for her, but he just had something positive to say.
He said, it was impressive the way she made people feel comfortable. And I thought, Gabe's not going to vote for Sue.
No, but he talked her up a little. She played a loyal game.
Yep, but he wants to know if she was consciously being loyal.
Yeah, so he made it a little backhanded at the same time.
I'm like, you're not voting for her.
Keeping with being Gabe. And Kyle celebrates Sam, the underdog, and how well he owned it.
Well, and Kyle stuck with how he felt. He also thought that Sam deserved, because he came from he was always on the bottom, and he deserved a win.
Yeah, the trick with these sequences that they do on the morning of the 26th when they're polling the jury members is that they ask each jury member about each of the final three, but then they cherry pick
they do.
Help build
Just to help tell the story.
Yeah, and the suspense.
And nobody was surprised that Caroline
celebrated Sue's
loyalty as well. And I thought she might throw her a vote, but I also thought she might vote for Rachel. I didn't think she'd vote Sam.
Andy says that Rachel is the threat of threats. So that was the first big endorsement for her. And then Genevieve says Rachel controlled it. And that tells you how much better she is than everybody else.
She said she just would not let go of the control that I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Played the game that she wanted. And then we hear from Teeny last. And
okay, but what did you think about Genevieve saying, but I want Rachel to tell everybody here that she played better than them? Why do you think she threw that?
You always get that, though. You always get somebody on the jury wants the final three wants the final three.
I guess what it boils down to is she wanted her to own it. Mm-hmm. And she did. So that worked out.
And Teeny says Sam had to be scrappy to make it that far.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to vote for Sam, Teeny. I just don't, with all the hate you threw in his direction that wasn't motivated by a single thing that he did, only how he looked.
Well, okay. And Sam says, I'm the guy nobody could get rid of. Again, smirked a little arrogant there for me.
Yeah.
There were a few things he said that bothered me, and I wonder if it bothered the jury. I'm thinking it bothered some of the jury at least.
You can tell Sue's going to be pushing this birthday angle. This is her birthday gift, and everyone underestimated her. It's part of her story. And Rachel talks about the underdog mentality that she had to cultivate, and then we hear Sam talking about the underdog. So
but
everybody's an underdog.
She says she wants to view herself still as the underdog because that's when she's at her best.
Helps fuel her. Yeah.
Yep.
Final tribal.
Sierra wants them to sweat. My first thought was, why? Why do you want them to sweat?
Yeah, she just means she wants them to squirm and feel the pressure of the jury and the questions.
Why? I mean, she's been out there a long time. She's kind of been
Well, it told you exactly how much she had worked through that, didn't it?
Okay.
Probst gives some congratulations as they're settle in for the final tribal council and gives a classic speech on now the power shifts to the jury.
All right. Up first is Gabe. He congratulates all three and wants to know how they think their game will be remembered. Here's the one place that I kind of thought Rachel
didn't come out as strong.
Didn't come out quite as strong. I liked all the, her, she fell on her face and she had the ability to adapt. Went from underdog to, being top dog.
Big dog.
And big dog, whatever it was she said.
Became a threat, yeah.
I didn't like her saying she didn't care how she was remembered because she had come there to play Survivor. Mm-hmm. And she didn't care how
she was truthful. She didn't pander to Gabe because Gabe wanted some legacy angle. But it didn't come off strong. It almost weakened her response, I think.
Well, if she had qualified saying something like, I came out here to play the game of Survivor and didn't care how I would be remembered, but now that I've played Survivor, I would like to remember my game this way, or blah, 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 blah. Something to that effect, kind of softened that. But, she said what she said, and that's that.
Yep, which gave Sam a great opener.
Yep.
Legacy matters to me.
Does matter to him.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give him credit. He jumped in where he saw any opportunity.
Yeah, there was an opening.
Good on you.
So he played up how scrappy he had to play.
Yep, and how he'd be remembered as that scrappy player. Which is funny, because isn't that
Finally.
what Teeny,
Yeah.
that's how she described him, too.
Yeah.
And
Finally,
that was before.
Sue gets to drop her birthday bomb. Hey, I'm actually 59. I would be the oldest woman to
a few
win.
people reacted, but it was kind of
Yeah.
like, really? Oh.
And that was cool. She made the whole
Yeah,
legacy
I thought it
importance
was.
thing about her grandson,
Yes, yes.
and managed to work some loyalty talk in there too.
Yeah. And I think she covered when she talked about playing, that good guys can finish too. She wanted to communicate that, and also that for her grandson, that good guys can win.
Genevieve hit her
and
up with
finish.
a follow up
Yep,
based on that.
Yep.
Well,
But I thought she handled it perfectly.
Genevieve asked her, "Well, do you see lying and deception as a negative?" It was almost like she was trying to trip her up a little bit. Yeah, but Sue,
Yeah,
she
I
said,
thought
"No,
so too,
I
but-
totally get it. It's part of the game.
She's like,
It's
no,
just
I
not
don't.
the game I
don't
wanted to
judge
play."
others.
Yeah.
I only judge myself. I thought that was perfect answer.
Yeah, she fielded that really well.
Yep.
Caroline wants to know about mistakes they made and how they recovered. And so Rachel talks about the big impact on Sierra going out and how she had to completely course correct her game from there. Build new connections, new social connections, become a spy, a secret agent.
Well,
And so she got to work the whole spine on Genevieve, Teeny, Sam, and Andy down on the beach into her answer there.
Well, she managed to get that whole, overhearing them, and that it did help her know that she did need to play her idol the next day, or she might not have stayed
Sam
if she
tried to
hadn't done
tamp that one down. He said, well, that was all just a ruse. But Rachel had a response for that.
She did.
Yeah.
And Teeny tried to help because Sam talked about, oh, well, and they made the fake idol, and I did this, and, I used that info to flip the game, and, and Teeny pops in and basically said, yeah, when you told me that, I told them, and they didn't buy it. They didn't believe it at all. So it really didn't make that much difference, Sam.
Yeah. Well, Teeny said that Sam said that he was dealing with lots of loose ends, and he realized that people loved sharing information, so he started using that as a weapon. I thought, some people are not going to want to hear that.
Yep. All right, Sue gets to talk to Andy, and she said, Andy, you lied to me 3 times and voted out my dear Caroline.
She didn't really say anything about how she recovered. At least they didn't show it. But that was her lowest moment.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot more that, they didn't get to show. But okay, and Saul talks about, I guess this was Saul's message to all of us out there judging, is that, it's easy to sit on the sofa at home and say, oh, what are they doing this? But he said, but that does not mean anything. It's way different than that. And then he wants them to give him one thing about their game, that would blow his mind. And Rachel talked about how she played the idol effectively. And boy, did she.
Yes.
I thought that was
one
perfect.
of the highlights of the season.
Absolutely.
But did he not know that? I think he knew that. So I don't know if that really counted for blowing his mind, but she didn't let that trip her up. She just went for a really big moment.
Absolutely.
Which, as fans,
for me.
it was certainly the blow your mind kind of moment for the fan. Yeah.
And Sam talks about, he was kind of defending himself from what she said, too, because Sam was one, I can't beat her, I have to get her out, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, I had to gas someone so that they could focus on her and not me.
Yeah.
But I don't think that came across as
and
a big plus for him.
Rachel had a rebuttal, too. She says, but you didn't get me out.
Yeah. If you were going to do that, then you needed to get me out to actually beat me.
Right.
So I'm just like,
Sam's response was, nobody up here played a perfect game. Okay, cool.
Alrighty, 'tis true. Nobody ever will.
What did you think about Andy's deal to Rachel? Hey, we're the 2 biggest super fans out here.
That I just felt like that was more about Andy and something they had discussed, and he wanted to put it out there that she did not rank these 2 great winners highly.
Right.
What is wrong with you?
Also, she had the worst voting record.
Yes. It's like, okay, Andy, what?
What'd you think of her response? I didn't come to be Mike Holloway, but I couldn't get people to work with me, so I had to get immunity.
Yep.
And I made all these final 3 deals. I guess that was a good response
Yeah,
overall.
I had final 3 with several people. I had final 3 with you guys and you guys. And
He
you
wasn't.
guys.
He wasn't going to flip her.
And that
On
her
the whole.
with her social games, she brought them all together. Mm-hmm. And so she did make alliances. So I thought she responded okay to that. And Sam said, well, he never voted incorrectly.
Yeah, that was good.
It's like, okay, well, that's a plus.
And he had been voted for more than anyone else.
But he was
and
putting
survived.
Rachel down, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't think it even went across well.
Opened with how she lost strategic and social
Yeah.
acumen.
But then he just lists some things that he overcame, blah, blah. Rachel called Sierra Sissy. Mm-hmm. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I noted that. So there was a connection, and then Rachel actually Sierra only directed her question to Rachel and Sam. Asking them how they overcame the whole rock bottom
And she
moment.
let Sam go first for a change.
Yeah.
I noted that. And
That was a pretty good response from Sam.
Yeah.
How he focused on the joy on the other end, like getting to watch all this go down. In the future, he was going to get to watch it with his parents. And
yeah, and hearing his fiance's voice, which always elicited, and but it was a good answer, but the clincher was probably that 6-year-old that watched Survivor.
yeah, wanted to make the 6-year-old version
I
of
didn't
himself
give up.
proud. Yep.
Yep, didn't want to let the 6-year-old
Rachel
down.
was ready with an answer. She said she hit rock bottom when Sierra got voted out, and then her husband had written her a note that helped keep her going and pump her back up.
Yep,
noting that it was going to be a temporary pain and that you needed to trust your instincts.
And she owned. She said, I am proud of my game and I want to own it. Mm-hmm. And I want to share this.
That was a connection moment, right? When she was talking about how historically
that she had not acknowledged her successes.
And she wanted to do that going forward.
And that she watched, here's what got me more, was watching her husband, who she feels is a wonderful artist, and he doesn't see it. Mm-hmm. And, that kind of made her tear up. And that she saw herself in that, and she doesn't want to do that.
Had a self-realization.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I thought that was kind of
It looked like it was a big connection moment with the jury, for sure.
Well, and I thought it was even a connection moment for her. Mm-hmm. That she put that together. And so, I think they
maybe
related.
not. After we saw the number she did on Andy and Sam when they were sitting on the beach, and they were convinced that she was going home.
Yeah.
And she played into that. She has acting chops.
For me.
Yes.
So I like it. And
good guy Gabe jumped in.
Yep.
He didn't want Sue to be excluded.
Yep. And he wanted to hear what his loyal friend Sue had to say.
Mm-hmm. Sue gave a good response there. She made it about them and how they were all positively there, including, she says, even Kyle.
Kyle gave her hugs.
Yeah.
And she thanked them for all their kindnesses.
They supported her in her low moments.
Yes. Well, and Kyle had mentioned that, that she cried a lot and that kind of thing. So she didn't deny that she had them.
Okay, time for final words there. Probst lets them give their pitch. Starts with Sue. So Sue beats that 59 drum a little more and declares herself
I won the bucket challenge, and
beast.
I could have kept going.
Yeah, has some back and forth with Kyle at this point.
They'd had that already because he was right in there. It looked like Saul was trying to get him not to say her.
Yeah, and she stayed loyal. So there was somewhere we heard a little bit about her loyalty.
And I liked it that she said, and I'd love your vote. Mm-hmm. I'd love to have your vote.
Yeah, it was a nice contrast as we go through this, right?
Yeah.
Sam acknowledged that he did not play a perfect game, but he says he feels like he played the most well-rounded
and
of the
that
three.
He was very creative, and he was very this and that. And
was able to take control without raising his threat level, and he didn't need advantages or idols to to do all that he did.
I wrote yuck.
And the thing that got you the most was that he said, "That's why I deserve your vote."
I deserve your vote.
So he went bold and brash with his
Okay.
finish.
There's confidence and then there's cocky. For me, that went cocky.
Transcended a little.
Yeah,
What'd you think about Rachel's summary, her last words?
I liked it.
Most dominant game out there. She got idols, she
just
got
listed-
advantages,
yep, she won 4 immunities.
and she made the most of each of them, which you don't often see on Survivor, especially after the blunderfest that was season 46. She stands head and shoulders above so many previous players with her ability to take advantage of idols
she
and
went
advantages.
from super underdog to final 3.
And then,
And I hope I get your vote.
yeah, that was great. Yeah, at
Yes.
the end. So she
Much better than, and I deserve your
soft
vote.
pedaled it. Yeah.
She did. But I think
Underdog to top dog.
that little bit of jar, when somebody does that for me, that's that little bit of jar on your nerves or something. And I think she probably heard it when he said it and thought, "Ooh, yeah, no, I don't want to
Right.
do that."
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and she won 4 individual immunities.
That's right.
Yeah.
You.
Okay, as Probst likes to say, this is the only time in
Time to
Survivor
vote.
when you want to see your name. Sierra struggled as she was voting. We see Kyle didn't struggle at all. He went right to it. Sam, you deserve it.
Yep. And then Caroline, we see, voted for Rachel. I was like,
So
oh,
lots
Sue.
of good things. Yes.
Oh, Sue, honey, you got no vote.
And we see Gabe struggling. And
yeah.
all 3 of the final.
But I told him, what did I tell him?
What?
Gabe, quit that and vote for Rachel.
Oh, okay.
So he did.
Everybody hold hands. Here comes the reading of the votes. One
I
for
still
Rachel.
wasn't sure.
No. One for Sam. And then Rachel.
And I went, yes.
Rachel wins season 47. Okay.
That's it. He's continuing with the Rachels because that's it. Mm-hmm. Everybody else voted for her. I don't know. I just always felt like, I think, Kyle really did want to vote for that. But I think the jury almost, it feels like to me that maybe in some respects they agreed to make certain that
There
first,
was a
second,
clear
and third were clear order. Yeah. And that's why they gave one vote to Sam. And
Well,
because
if they were-
Kyle probably wanted
if
to
they were-
anyway. But
Wanting to be generous, they would make Sam and Sue tie. Because in that case, they both get second, right? They both get the 100K instead of the 100K and the 85K.
you mean generous with the money?
Yeah.
I doubt anybody thought Sue needed more money.
Maybe.
Right? She owns a school that teaches flying or...
That's what we're
So,
told.
a lot of times if people think they don't need the money, they're not gonna do that. But they did want a clear distinction between the money for second and third. I thought. That's what I thought.
Okay.
I thought they're
Could
making
be.
it clear. Thank you. That helps in JSFL too.
Yeah, it does.
Makes
Worked
it
to our
a lot
advantage.
easier to score.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. On to for whatever it is, the after show, champagne and pizza.
okay, what did you think of Jeff wanted to exploit things a moment and just say the
I'm
reason?
glad he acknowledged that what they do in the after show is an exploitation of the 2 that did not win. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He wanted, I think, us all to know, because he gets that all the time over and over and over and over. Why do you do that? And so he said they wanted to get their raw emotions because they haven't seen their families. They haven't been criticized by anyone outside the game yet. They don't know how they've been viewed in the game by the public. They don't know any of that, and it doesn't color their emotions, and that's why they like to tap into those emotions in their answers at that time when
Okay.
it's fresh.
Sounds like a spin doctor for someone who made a cost savings decision.
Okay.
That's what I think of that.
All righty.
Did you like his appeal? Is that why you're highlighting it?
What appeal?
For why he likes to exploit the moment and what he believes the value of it is.
That's fine. I'm happy to know what his opinion is and what he thinks about it, but Yeah. It's kinda
Rachel
like,
nails
yeah,
it.
whatever.
She says, "Look, it's an out of body experience for me right now," and
I'm
she's
not
in
fully
shock.
here.
Yeah. So
I'm hungry.
Are you
and
Are you really getting anything? So what
he's
they?
getting the raw emotions.
Yeah, which is
In some ways, I think they do, but I think they'd already, I don't know. There's some benefit to it, but they used to get the raw emotions right there anyway, do the voting,
For the
and then
win.
they don't tell them anything, and they go back to Hollywood and have them get together when they gain their weight back and,
Yeah.
all of this stuff and blah, 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 and then they can get together and party again. We used to have a ball. Why
There's-
are they not doing that?
Yeah, there's nothing about this that is any way superior to the way they previously did it, other than it's a gigantic cost savings.
Oh,
like millions, I'm
humongous.
sure.
Yeah. Well, just the money they give them to show up at the finale is
In other words, they get $10K a pop.
yeah,
was
but
the way
that's
it
a
worked.
chunk of change for 18 people.
Not in the scheme of things.
Yeah, well,
Not when you're talking about advertising dollars.
and the other people they would pay to bring back.
But he
too.
puts Kyle on the spot. Hey, why did you vote for Sam?
Yeah,
Kyle, I appreciate him. He impacted my life.
greatly.
Didn't say how, in what way, but okay, whatever, Kyle.
Well, Jeff tells us he thought the final tribal council was riveting, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it too, and we only get to see a brief part of it, just snippets, really, because that can go on for a long time.
And Sam tells us he's disappointed not to win, but he knew it would be an uphill battle, and he was pleased with his game anyway.
Probst gave a good lead in for Sue.
Yep, he gave her that. You're also in a rare group of 5 older women who made it to the end.
5 over 50, I think he said.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I think that was about what he said. And
Sue basically said the same thing she said before the season started. She was thrilled to be able to represent that age group and just go for it. And she's proud and recognized that she was blessed to be there.
yeah, and it was the hardest but the most beautiful experience. So, and I know at 59 years old, it wouldn't be that easy for. It's harder than it is if you're 20 years old or 29 years
even
old.
Even 49.
39 years old.
Big difference that
Big
happens,
difference,
at
yes.
least for me. And
Between
I'm
your
right
40s
there.
and 50s.
Yeah,
and
right there with
60s
Sue.
and-
So, yeah, can already feel that just the whole movement thing is different.
I know, and you used to say, why do you move like that?
Well, you
How
don't-
come you're stiff when you get up like that?
You don't know
I said,
until you
give
know.
it a few years, honey. You can answer your own question. Give it a little more time.
So Probst wants to recap where Rachel got the clue for the idol, and she was just sure that Saul saw it, but it turns out Saul was just eyeing her burger the whole time.
Yes, but you would be so paranoid.
What did you think about the Andy moment? He tried to give Andy an opportunity and to recognize the change that Andy was able to accomplish. But he starts by saying, worst start for a player in Survivor history. And you were able to recover. And Andy goes into talking about that and drops a word that I used to use all the time at work, because sometimes when you're describing data and concepts, you do talk about things being orthogonal, that it's essentially at odds with what you originally.
Yep, I didn't know what it was.
You didn't know orthogonal, and did you get
No,
hung
I
up
did
on it the
not.
way Probst did?
No, not
And
at
that
all.
was like the end of Andy getting to talk, so because Probst didn't know the word orthogonal. Okay,
Well, and that's when Jeff once again gave credit to Teeny. You really impressed me with how you carried yourself in the game.
which
Which
I
he
don't think
didn't-
he was
it went to
factoring
commercial.
everything in. He didn't really. I bet he didn't know how negative Teeny had gone on Sam previously when he was thinking about that. So he didn't have the benefit of the whole scope of things because he doesn't watch everything. There's
Yeah.
too much content. So Teeny didn't carry themselves that well in the scheme of things, especially towards the end of the season. Kind of spiraled out of control there for a bit.
Okay, then Jeff wants to talk a little bit about blind sides and ask Genevieve the essential quality to allow you to blindside. And then she has her explanation about being prepared to be on the bottom, et cetera, and
Being prepared to experience it all, and then you find yourself on the
yeah,
bottom.
Yeah. And Carolyn, I didn't get what Carolyn said. Did you?
The need to be socially aware, to try to consider things from each person's, what would be beneficial. They've talked about that before on the show, which is you make an assumption that each person's going to make the best move for themselves. It doesn't always play out that way. Some people get there and get lost, and then they just work against someone else, or they're not always acting in their best interest, I guess.
Right.
But she said that was how she looked at it, to try to set up a blind side.
Then they asked Gabe if he struggled with his emotions. He
Nope.
was like, no, I came out
just
here to
a game.
win. It's
Yeah.
a game. No, I didn't. And Teeny tells us what we need to know to play, though. Said she grew up with the show. She was obsessed with Survivor, as everybody is, and that it was hard to make decisions under these conditions out here, she said.
Yeah.
It's very different.
I think they do a lot better now with the edit. At least they have in recent seasons, with helping you see how difficult those decision-making processes are. The 90 minutes, I think, the extended episodes have helped with that significantly. You don't get to see it all, and there's still, we still find ourselves asking questions or scratching our head, not understanding what's going on in different scenarios, but we do get deeper, clearer insights into the struggle of what that process is like.
Okay. And then this is where Jeff clarifies, why he's proud of the game she played, and that because she was playing with the older people and all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we get a quick peek of 48.
Yep. I made one note. Probst mentions a historic moment at some point in season 48. What did you think of the people we saw?
They were people.
That's it? You had no impressions other than that?
Well, I had a few impressions with the lady with the floppy hat, the tarot card lady.
Oh, she said people think I'm a tarot card reader.
Yeah. But I thought, well, that floppy hat could come in handy out there. I noticed that the tribes looked like they were green, orange, and purple, but I wasn't sure about the purple color because sometimes it looked almost like hot pink, but then it would look purple. But I think that's the three colors.
Looked like a really, and I'm not talking about just chocolate milk guy, but it looked like there was a lot of physicality. He said the reason he had such big muscles.
Oh, the muscle guy. I call him the muscle guy.
Yeah.
And there was the chatty lady.
Yeah. But it looked like there was some real physical players for sure.
Yep.
And there were clips and snippets from possibly different challenges. So
though
sometimes there are clues in that. Yeah. Chocolate milk.
They don't always do as well.
We didn't think Jonathan was going to do well.
We didn't, and we were wrong.
Yeah, we were very wrong.
We were very wrong.
Yeah.
But, there have been people who weren't like that. Did not do well when they were.
Certainly.
And lost that muscle quickly.
Well, yeah, in Pearl Island, you got one that quit.
Yep. Okay, well, overall, what did you think of the season?
Let me start with the finale. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of excitement. There was some uncertainty. I didn't feel like it was, the outcome was a given. Yeah, I thought there was a serious chance, given some of the responses that we were seeing to Sam, that he may have a shot at it. And we knew coming in, like we had talked about in the last listener feedback show, that he was viewed as such a big threat. So perception of him as a potential winner was very high. It seemed higher than the other three. So, yeah, I thought it could potentially. Oh, and in one of the commercials for the finale, Sam was in the power hammock, and he was the only one.
Yes.
So I definitely had Jaden Christine's power hammock on my mind when I was thinking about my picks. But I thought, no, they're going to take him out. He'll be first out. And then when he wasn't, I was like, ruh-roh, this could be going in a different direction. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. It wasn't predictable. I enjoyed the fire-making challenge. The Final Four challenge was good, too, the multi-stages.
You got Rachel correct.
Yeah, I did. I got that part correct. Yeah. And then the season overall, this is the best of the 40s. There's not even one of them that comes close. This cast, how they were playing, the capabilities that it appeared that the people who were being voted out had, and then thinking, oh, darn, not another one. Oh, geez, I really wanted to see him or her play some more, all the way through. And just not limited to just Rachel, but the gameplay. We were seeing great strategic gameplay.
Well, I just flat out enjoyed it.
Yeah. So this is the highest of the 40s for sure. This is going to be one of the overall top seasons for me at this point. That's my thought about it.
Loved it. Leaves me with a good feeling. That's all I really care about. I enjoyed it, and even though I only got one vote or one vote off correct, but at least I got the final order correct. But one vote off, I got Andy correct.
So riding a high in the fantasy game, okay.
But I didn't care because I was enjoying the season and the ups and downs. And I felt like we had a lot of really good players, people that came to play. They really came to play. They weren't just, on vacation, or they were people that wanted to win.
And it wasn't, I want to make a big move. I need to fill out my resume. It wasn't all that stuff that causes people to make such bad decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just contrasting last season to this one.
Yeah, some of them went overboard with that, and it was a hindrance to their game instead of making it better.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the finale.
Yeah.
I've already pointed out the few things that I didn't like as much, that people said or did or something. But the only thing I really hated it. Hear me now. Stop playing music when people are talking.
Oh,
I don't know if that was bad for everyone, but the way we watched it, it was horrible.
Right.
Drove me nuts.
The music was drowning out what people were saying.
Yes, it's like, I don't want to hear the music.
I've seen comments like that all season long, that the audio mix is messed up. And it's unfortunate because they have fantastic audio on the show. Just great talent.
But it's the mix, and it's when people are talking. And that did bother me some in my ability to hear it well. I mean, granted, I don't have as good a hearing as I used to have.
We keep closed caption on for part of that very reason. Yeah.
Yeah. And, but I hate it when any show does that. So... when my favorite show does that, I really hate it.
Yeah.
So please stop it.
Yeah, work that out. Duck the music needs to duck when people are talking.
Absolutely. You can play it during the challenges, or if coming back from somewhere. But when people are talking, turn the music off.
Yeah. Somehow the setup they're using, they're missing that.
Yeah.
And I know it's really hard with audio. You can't account for... I remember the one person told us that they listen with one headphone in when they're driving the delivery truck around. That's why I always do our mix in mono. So in case someone's doing the left ear or the right ear, it'll be the same.
Oh, okay.
Either side. So you can't account for all the different audio environments that people are going to listen to your show in, but somebody's really missing something in how they're testing the audio. And this isn't the only season that's been the case, right?
No, but I always hate it, no matter what season or what show. That's true. Yep. That's a pet peeve now. Mm-hmm. So anyway, other than that, I enjoyed the entire season.
Well, now it's time for you. We'd love to have you join us for the last listener feedback show for season 47 to hear what you thought about the finale, what you thought about the season as a whole. Oh, I'm forgetting, right?
Yeah, well,
JSFL.
Yes, if you wanted to.
Let's get a JSFL update.
I mean, I know it's bedtime, but...
Yep.
Okay, congratulations to Clutter in Ohio for winning JSFL this season with 125 points.
Wow, I don't remember hearing that name all season long, so it was one of those jump from behind wins.
He did have Rachel for 24 points.
Nice, okay.
All right. And just as a note, there were 212 people who had Rachel for the win.
Yeah.
There were 14 people who chose Sam, 8 for Sue, and 5 for Teeny.
Okay.
The side challengers, congratulations, goes to Robert with 102.
Oh, way to go, Robert. You jumped ahead of Jeremiah at the end.
Yep. 92 for Jeremiah, 74 for Rebecca, 73 Justin, 72 Lisa Ray, 69 Stacy, 64 Parker, and 49 for Anderson.
Uh-oh, Anderson. You're going to get to sing, buddy. I hope you're ready
What are you
for
laughing
that.
about? You've done it several times.
Yeah.
If you need any tips, Anderson, Stacy has lots of practice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So Robert's going to come up with a song you're going to have to create a parody of based on the events of this season.
All right, Robert, choose something good for Anderson.
Okay, let's get back to the last listener feedback show. So we want to hear your thoughts on the finale, your thoughts on season 47. Where does it stand against all the others? Who did you pick to win that fire making challenge? And who had the best final tribal council question, and who had the best answer? And how would you rate Rachel as a winner, and obviously the overall season too? Yeah. What, if anything, did you see about the cast there for season 48? What jumped out? Looking forward to hearing from you. The voicemail number is 206-350-1547. Toll free 844-643-8737. You can record your own audio and send it in to the email address, or type it up as an email message, and we'll read it into the show on your behalf. That email address is joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Eastern time on Saturday. We ask you keep it in that 3-minute range. We've done the big heavy lift with the recap. Now you can zero in on your observations. Anything else?
I don't believe so.
Have a good one.